and welcome to the Sanctuary, a safe space to speak from the heart. I'm your host, Israel, and my guest today is writer, singer, artist, activist, Jordan occasionally. Thanks for coming to the Sanctuary today.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here. I love your energy. Like, Toronto is beautiful, so I'm glad I got a chance to meet you through North by Northeast.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks for saying yes coming on. Because I think before we get into the music, is it okay if we talk about a little bit about activism for you?
Absolutely. I'm always
So
down for
how
that.
did that start? And there's so many newspaper clippings of you, and I'm like,
Mhm.
where did this journey start for you, the activism?
Yeah, like, so when I first started releasing music, honestly, my first song that I wrote when I was 18 years old, it was called Don't Shoot. And that was one of the first songs I ever released when I was in college. And just from a young age, I knew that music was my vessel, was my vehicle to talk about things that really mattered to me in my life. Because just growing up, I felt I couldn't really communicate who I was or how I felt as a young Black queer person. And so finally it was through music that I got a chance to vocalize that. And the platform that brought me gave me this access to mobilize people. And so during the Black Lives Matter movement, when there were different protests happening, I was able to use my platform to create protests in my own community, and some of the largest protests in Memphis, Tennessee in 2021 for Breonna Taylor and Tony McDade. So yeah, just using music and activism to not only have a platform that touches people but moves people to take some action.
Yeah, move people you do. So I'm like, actually the music and the activism go hand in hand. So
Absolutely.
let's go to the music part. How did you get into music? How did you get into writing? How did you get into doing all you're doing now?
Listen, like growing up, I've been singing since I was like 4 years old. And when I was in high school, I joined this like all women's a cappella group. And my choir teacher, shout out to teachers, y'all, like she pushed me and was like, you could be an artist for real, right? And so I just took her word for it. And I ended up going to the University of Memphis and getting a degree in music business and just going full force at it because I was like, you know what? If I'm going to go to school for anything, it's going to be for freaking music. And I feel like you learn a lot more through life experiences anyway. Like colleges are such a controlled environment, but what I learned was community matters. And if I'm going to follow my passions and do anything, I'm going to take a chance on myself first. So music has always been a part of me, and I'm grateful that I get to do it.
No, 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 totally, totally. That is right. There's nothing like finding that thing you love and being able to do it at the same time.
Yeah.
One of the things, you like I said, you do so many things, and one of the things that I guess is also tied into your activism and building communities better up. Do you want to talk a bit about that?
Yes, oh my gosh. So, when it comes to like my friends, I feel like when it comes to like making music in general, I've always been able to barter with people in order to, have a space to record. Like, hey, like let me give you some vocals and maybe I can record in your studio, or, maybe you can produce for me and I get you connected with this agent or something like that. So it's like I feel like in music, when you're an independent artist, you have to find a way anyway to like make your dreams possible without having as much funding as you wish you
Mm.
could have. Especially when you come from a community like mine, which is like historically low income, historically working class. So it's a lot of people just kind of believing in each other and working together. And that's where Barter Up came from. It was creatives in different fields realizing, hey, I just want to get to know like, someone who's doing graphic design. I just want to, learn this skill. I don't necessarily want to be a pro at it, but I love to connect with people and not have money be my barrier. And so we
Mm.
created this space where it was like a mutual aid collaborative where folks barter their goods and services. And it kind of extended outside of our friend group and took over TikTok. And now we kind of meet once a month and do fun activities where folks are bartering stuff in real time. So it's helped change people's lives.
No, exactly. That was the thing that stood out for me because you think of this thing, it seems small, but it's impacting so many people.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that you do that. And
Thank you.
while I'm going through all these things they're doing, some like I almost have a headache because I'm thinking, how do they do all these things? Like how?
Listen,
So I have to ask you, how do you do it?
listen. one day at a time. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like maybe it's my Virgo rising too. Like I just won't allow myself to get out of the way. I have my schedule planned out. Like I have my goals and my dreams, but I'm also like clear about my boundaries. And when I know I can't exert myself too much, or when I have to let someone know, hey, I got to focus on this avenue, I'm willing
Mm,
to say that and advocate for myself. I think it's very important when you're a community person as well to know when it's time to give back to yourself. And so it's
mm,
like having that balance and being able to say, no, like I'm going to take this time for me, y'all. But I trust that you're going to be a leader in your own way and we can still shine and rock together. So, yeah, knowing my boundaries, getting my schedule together, and just staying positive and realizing that it's always bigger than me.
going back to the music, your set at Not by Notice was insane.
Oh,
How do you prepare for that set? One, and like how? Well, let's start with that. Yeah.
yeah, I'm super excited. Like, to have two sets in North by Northeast and like be performing with Memphis artists, it's really amazing. What makes me happy when I'm preparing for a set like this is just remembering my music is made for a festival stage. Like it's a beat. Yes, we're gonna talk about real stuff, but we're gonna talk about it in a way that makes you groove. So it's like I'm always making sure that folks can groove to what I'm creating. And if I'm not grooving, then I don't want to put it on stage. Just having a good time and realizing
Mm,
like I have 30 or so minutes to just capture an energy and experience with someone. So why am I overthinking it? Like, let me just be and live in this moment and hope that someone goes home and feels better than when they came.
wow, wow, and the impact you give, like it's like there's this kind of beautiful circle where you're giving to the crowd and then the crowd is giving it back to you and it just
Yes,
keeps going, it just keeps going.
it's
Let's talk about
connectivity.
the Memphis showcase. How did that come about? How did you get to be one of the artists part of the Memphis showcase?
Yeah, so it was like an application process, and shout out to like Music Export Memphis. Like they've been around for quite some time to help advocate for independent artists, and you can sign up for grants if you need tour funding and all of these different things. And so I'm just so serious as an independent artist about doing my research and being on top of like if there's grant opportunities or contests or something like that where I know I can just show up and show my resume and also show my skill and talent. I'm gonna audition for it. Like I said, we have limited resources and funding, so when something like that pops up, of course I'm gonna be in line for it, to let people know who I am and what my message stands for. So having Music Export Memphis, even have that sponsorship with North by Northeast, and then to be able to apply and make it out of such a large list of applicants, it was just really like so affirming for me. It's my first time performing at a festival outside of the U.S. So, and it's my first time being in Toronto, so I'm just up.
No, that's great. I love the playlist is insane and the
Yeah,
collection of the artists that came. I'm like, wow, okay, okay, okay. I love
it's
that. I
it's
love
lit.
that. Yes,
This is
it
my
is
plan.
lit. It is lit. What are some things that you have coming up for you for the summer, for the next couple of months?
Listen, y'all are not prepared. Like I literally am working on a single with some amazing artists. I don't want to say who they are, but when I tell you it's giving song of the summer. I know every artist says that, but y'all can make playlists at this point. Make a song of the summer playlist and put us on it. Like it's gonna be very fun, very flirty. And we're hoping to plan a tour with that. And definitely I have another project that I'm planning on dropping with this amazing producer. So music, 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 and definitely performances.
Actually, something I wanted to touch on was, you make amazing music. But like, is it the same process for everything you make? Is it different for everyone? And what does that process look like for you?
I feel like it has to change as I get older. Like, at first I was making music out of my home studio because that was the only resource that I had, like, just coming together in that way. But now it's like I got a chance to record my last song that I released with Genius, If You Want My Love. I recorded that at Royal Studios in Memphis, which is like one of the most historic studios. It captured the voice of Al Green and so many
Wow.
amazing, powerhouse vocalists. So it's just like when you're in there, the energy of the space just kind of takes over. And so now I realize I'm in a space where like I'm connecting with other artists and like-minded producers, and we get to work together in their spaces or in studios that they trust. And I don't know, it's beautiful to see how the internet can open up the doors for you in that way, but also just your work ethic and manifesting what you want and working towards that goal and that dream.
No, yeah, your work ethic is insane. But you mentioned something about the internet also opening up ways, and I have to make a comment about your social media game because that's also lit, and
Yes.
your Instagram is so engaged.
Thank
What is your
you.
approach to your social media?
Listen, when it comes to social media, like being able to show my brightness, like I'm a very tropical person. I want to make people feel good and just loved, but also like having that professionalism and being personable, like I feel like when it comes to my social media, how I've been able to excel in my career is that direct to fan base. Where it's kind of like they're not necessarily just my fans; they're like my family. They're my friends, even though we've never met. So like giving people that chance to like see an unfinished project, to give me honest critique, to talk about the latest gossip, reminding them that I see the world in the same way that they do. The only difference is that I make music, I guess. We're all talented in our own ways. But I think the way I've been able to keep that engaging fan base is by literally talking to them and asking them to move mountains for me. And it's gotten me, to work with Keke Palmer at one point and all these
Wow.
different things. When I need my fans to activate, like they do, they come through because they see me as family. So yeah, just bringing them in and letting them sit at the table with me.
Okay, we're not just gonna say that in passing. You worked with Kiki Palmer. Come on, come on, come on. What is the story there?
Yes. Okay. So Keke Palmer just launched her new like TV series, Key TV, and she did this launch where she was looking for independent artists because she herself is an independent artist and she's had such a beautiful journey when it comes to her music too. So she put out the word to look for independent artists to also uplift. And one thing I love about Keke Palmer is she's always uplifting, the new talent that's coming around, new writers, new producers, everything. So to have that call for independent artists was major, and I put it out on my stories and everything. I was like, please tag me, y'all. You never know what could happen. And sure enough, I got that email like a month later. I thought she forgot about me, but she was like, I've been watching you, and I'd love to have you on my platform. So that was such a big deal, and I was
That
I
is
was
a
grateful to
big
have Miss
deal.
Kiki,
That is a big,
Mama
big deal.
Kiki. She's a mother.
Okay, okay. I know you have to prepare for your next set. I know by
Yes.
not this. I know you have so many things in the pipeline. So I'm gonna let you go. But before I do that, I have to ask this question. So you mentioned something that, as you grow as a musician, as an artist, things change. But what is the Jordan now? If you could go back in time and tell Jordan from 10 years ago, what would you tell that Jordan?
Oh my gosh. I would say keep being weird. Like, honestly, the things that you're afraid of where you think you're just, nobody is going to understand this. It's just, you're not going to find the audience for that. Put that out because that's exactly, you're going to carve your audience out of nowhere. Like, you're going to find your people, find, who you want to be, what you want to look like, and what you want to believe in. Like, life is a journey, and don't let what you see limit what is unseen. Keep freaking imagining and making the impossible possible. Absolutely.
Wow. Okay, I gotta let this amazing, amazing, talented human being go. But I have to say thank you so much for sharing your art with us here in Toronto at Not by Northeast and for coming to the sanctuary today.
No, the sanctuary is amazing. Shout out to y'all for having me. Listen, this is such a beautiful platform, and I cannot wait to keep getting to know y'all and seeing how y'all put on these other artists because I love connecting with other artists too. So thanks for having me.
Thank you so much.